Have you ever had this feeling, just for a split second, that you're playing a predetermined role in your own life?
Oh, yeah. Like you're just reading from a script.
Exactly, like in your family dynamics or at your job or, even just walking down the street, but it's a script you definitely didn't sign up for.
Right. And it usually hits you during a totally mundane moment.
Yeah.
You find yourself doing what the dutiful child or the responsible employee is supposed to do.
Yeah.
And you realize you're operating based on rules that were written centuries before you were even born.
It's a wild feeling. And, well, today's deep dive is about that exact feeling. Welcome to the deep dive, everyone. We are exploring a fascinating philosophical text today by an author named Zhu Feng.
Yeah, it's an excerpt from a larger work.
Right. It's titled 36 8-Trigram Arrays, the Array of Ethical Relations. And the core argument here is that you aren't just imagining that pressure.
No, not at all.
You are actually embedded in an invisible, powerful matrix. And today we're going to dissect how this matrix controls us, the mind-bending way time and reincarnation scramble it, and the radical, almost controversial method the author proposes for breaking free.
And, before we go further, that title, 8-Trigram Arrays, I know it sounds like impenetrable mystical jargon.
Totally. It sounds very dense.
Right, but just think of it as an ancient way of mapping out different fundamental forces or energies in the universe. The author is essentially arguing that there are 36 foundational, maps or programs that govern human existence.
Okay.
And today, we're looking at just one of those programs, which is the map of our ethical relationships.
Okay, let's unpack this, because if we are actually living inside this matrix, I want to know where the walls are. What exactly forms the bars of this cage? What does the author mean by ethical relations?
Well, the text defines it as the intricate web of relationships established between individuals. But it's highly structural.
Structural how?
It's based on things like generation, status, seniority, gender, and the degree of kinship.
Oh, okay.
So it starts with the obvious family dynamics, right? Grandparents, parents, spouses, siblings.
Right, so that just sounds like your standard family tree. I mean, everyone has to navigate that.
True, it starts there, but the text pushes it much, much further. It scales up to every conceivable human interaction.
Wait, really? Like outside the family?
Oh, absolutely. It maps the societal and political spheres from the highest levels of government, like a president or prime minister, down through governors, mayors, section chiefs.
Wow.
All the way to ordinary citizens. And it does the exact same thing for the corporate world. Chairmen and CEOs flowing down to managers, team leaders, and, well, everyday staff members.
So even my boss is part of this array.
Yes. Even the religious sphere,
Mm-hmm.
from the Pope or, cardinals, bishops, down to everyday believers.
Wait, so the author isn't just saying we have different jobs. They are saying all of these different spheres are basically running the exact same underlying software.
That is exactly it.
Like, the power dynamic between a CEO and an intern is the same fundamental energy as a parent and a child.
That is the core argument, yeah. The text lists an incredible variety of these connections. Party relationships, military relationships, tribal, material, intimate. It's a comprehensive taxonomy.
It's like an inescapable net.
It really is. You are never just existing as an isolated, free-floating consciousness. You are always existing in relation to someone else, within a specific rank and order.
I am trying to visualize the sheer scale of this. Think of it like the gravity of a massive solar system or a cosmic org chart.
I like that analogy.
Right, or even like a rigid social networking algorithm where your user profile dictates exactly how you must interact with everyone else. It keeps the planets from colliding and creating chaos, which is great.
Right, it's stable.
But it also means those planets are permanently trapped in their orbits. They can never leave. They are locked into a trajectory they didn't choose.
What's fascinating here is that this massive org chart isn't just descriptive. It's not just an anthropologist observing how humans happen to organize themselves.
Okay, and what is it?
According to the text, this array is an active force of control. It demands compliance. It has a gravitational pull that forces you to act out your designated role.
Which makes me wonder about the mechanism of that pull. Like, why does it exist, and how does this array actually enforce its rules? What happens when a planet tries to leave its orbit?
Well, to understand the enforcement, we have to look at the function of the array. The text acknowledges that this ethical array upholds human society.
Right.
By binding people to these relationships and demanding mutual respect and deference, it prevents total chaos and disorder.
Okay, so if I know I'm the employee and you're the boss, we have a script.
Exactly.
We know what to do, and the gears of the economy keep turning. It prevents anarchy.
Precisely. But the flip side is what the text calls a punitive matrix. Because it is the fundamental structure holding society together, breaching this array brings severe punishment.
Like getting fired or grounded.
Worse, the text says if you step out of line, you face societal condemnation. You get accused of violating norms or disrupting societal relations.
Yeah, the text actually uses the phrase worse than beasts, which is heavy language.
Extremely heavy.
It implies that society equates your humanity with your obedience to the hierarchy. Like if you don't play the role of the dutiful child or the deferential employee, you aren't just a rebel. You're somehow less than human.
And the punishment is not just external. This is where the psychological mechanism becomes so insidious.
How so?
The text specifically points out that transgressions result in moral torment. The array is internalized within your own mind.
Oh, I see. Think about the sheer panic you feel when you consider doing something unconventional. Say you want to quit a secure, prestigious job to do something creative, or you need to set a hard boundary with a toxic family member.
The guilt is overwhelming.
Exactly, that immense guilt, that fear of disappointing your parents or looking foolish to your peers. The text is arguing that isn't just your personal anxiety.
No, it's the array.
That's the array actively deploying defense mechanisms inside your own consciousness to keep you in your designated lane.
It's like the array's immune system attacking a rogue cell. And the author views this as the ultimate trap.
Right.
Because while the array prevents chaos on a societal level, for the individual, being stuck in it means being ensnared in a perpetual cycle of life and death. The text specifically notes that within this array, people cannot form an independent consciousness or a complete personality.
That is a staggering claim. The idea that my personality isn't even truly mine, that I am just a composite of reactions to the people around me.
Well, the text provides some very concrete examples of how this works.
Yeah.
It argues that the influence of parents is incredibly difficult to escape.
Oh, definitely.
Your worldview, your fears, your ambitions, they are heavily shaped by either conforming to or rebelling against that parental node in the array.
And it doesn't start with parents. The text goes into marital relations and states that half of a person's happiness or misery is dictated solely by their spouse. Just think about the mathematical weight of that. Half of your emotional experience on this earth is handed over to another person simply because you entered the structure of the spouse relationship.
Right. You're vibrating to the hum of the array,
Yeah.
not your own true frequency. Which brings us to the author's ultimate warning.
The escape plan.
Yes. The text talks about moving from the realm of necessity to the realm of freedom. The realm of necessity is what we've been discussing, the societal world where you must fulfill obligations.
Okay.
But the realm of freedom is a celestial state where your consciousness is completely liberated from these mandatory earthly ties. You must escape to reach it.
I have to challenge this, though, because we just established that the array is the only thing preventing total societal collapse.
True.
If breaking it means we face societal condemnation and act worse than beasts, and the author wants us to escape it to find this realm of freedom, aren't that just advocating for complete anarchy? Why would we want to escape?
That tension is so central to the philosophy. To transcend to that celestial state, to truly move from necessity to freedom, one must escape. But to understand why the array is ultimately an illusion we shouldn't cling to, we have to look at the author's wildest point.
Which is?
What happens across multiple lifetimes?
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Because the text introduces reincarnation.
Exactly. The illusion of the present moment.
Right. Because while relationships make total sense in the present moment, a boss is a boss, a mom is a mom, zooming out across time makes the whole ethical array confusing and completely absurd.
It shatters the logic. The text provides these specific mind-bending examples. It says, your grandmother from a past life might be your daughter in this life.
Which is just a crazy thought.
Right. And your current wife might become your mother in the next life.
Wow.
Your current children might have been your sworn enemies in a past life. And it even crosses species lines.
Wait, really?
Yeah, the text notes that someone helping you today might have been your dog in a past life.
That completely breaks the whole system. If the soul of my grandfather is now my daughter, the entire basis of generational respect just collapsed in on itself.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it explains the conflict with Buddhist teaching that all sentient beings are equal.
How so?
Well, within a single lifetime's ethical array, Equality is mathematically impossible. The whole point of the array is strict hierarchies, superiors and subordinates.
You literally can't have equality when the structure demands the employee defers to the CEO.
Exactly. Across the vast span of reincarnation, everyone plays every role. The master becomes the servant. Over infinite time, all the hierarchies cancel each other out, leveling the cosmic playing field completely.
It makes me think of a dizzying theater troupe.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it.
Imagine an acting company that puts on a play every night, but the actors constantly swap roles. The villain today is the hero tomorrow, the pet is the patron.
And if you only watch one play, you think the actor playing the servant is inherently inferior.
Exactly. But practically speaking, how are we supposed to navigate our daily lives and relationships with this information? I mean, what do I do on a Tuesday morning if the person cutting me off in traffic used to be my grandfather?
Right.
The text literally says it's a headache.
It is a massive headache. And the author's solution to this headache is surprisingly simple, in theory anyway. It is to treat everyone equally and love all sentient beings.
Which sounds beautiful, but leads to the final question. How do we practically execute this escape plan? Because I still have to go to work.
The author lays out a specific blueprint for freedom. First, you must actively cultivate an independent consciousness and build a complete personality.
Okay, so figure out who you are without the labels.
Exactly. Second, it advises following the teachings of diverse spiritual figures mentioned in the text.
Like who?
It brings together the greatest creator, Buddha, Jesus, and the celestial Laozi.
That's a very broad spiritual net. So they're basically pointers to a universal truth outside the human org chart.
Yes, but then the philosophy shifts to a radical filter, a highly pragmatic, almost ruthless boundary-setting rule.
Oh, right. The author proposes a stunningly direct boundary for deciding who gets your energy. The text basically says, regardless of who you are, if you make me happy, free, and blessed and help me ascend to heaven, I'll play with you. If not, goodbye.
Goodbye. It's so jarring. The author's saying that once you understand the array is an illusion, you are no longer obligated to suffer through toxic ties.
So what does this all mean? I have to ask a critical question for you, the listener. Isn't saying, if you don't make me happy, goodbye, totally contradictory to the earlier instruction to love all sentient beings?
It does sound like spiritual selfishness at first glance.
Right. How do we reconcile this radical boundary setting with universal love?
It's all about separating the soul from the script. Loving all sentient beings does not mean you are required to participate in their specific dramas within this current lifetime.
So universal love doesn't mean universal access to my time and energy.
Exactly. You can love someone on a cosmic level. You recognize they are an eternal actor in the troupe, just like you. But you can simultaneously refuse to act in a miserable scene with them today.
I see. You can love the actor, but utterly refuse to perform the script.
You have to protect your independent consciousness. You prioritize ascending to the realm of freedom over being a polite prisoner.
But just when you think the author is handing you a free pass to ghost your family, walk out on your job, and just peace out on society, there's a catch.
A very grounding final catch.
Right. The very last sentence of the excerpt pulls us right back down to earth.
It's the ultimate paradox. Despite this desire for absolute freedom and saying goodbye to toxic ties, the text concludes that one must still fulfill their responsibilities, obligations, and repay their debts.
You can't just abandon your life. You still have to pay your rent, feed your kids, and finish the job you agreed to do.
You cannot cheat the physical world. You must mentally transcend your life, achieving that independent consciousness while simultaneously settling your cosmic and earthly tab.
You act the role flawlessly, but you never forget it is just a costume.
Precisely.
Okay, let's synthesize the journey you just took with us today. We started by realizing we are trapped in a massive societal and familial org chart, this invisible matrix that demands our obedience.
And we discovered how reincarnation makes all those rigid roles completely absurd.
Exactly. And finally, we learned this radical philosophy of protecting one's spiritual peace, saying goodbye to toxic scripts, while still paying off our worldly debts.
It's a profound recalibration. And, we want to leave you with a final thought to mull over as you go back to your day.
Yes, think about this.
If half of your happiness and misery is dictated by the roles you are tied to right now, and if your quote-unquote enemies might just be soulmates playing a different part in this lifetime,
Right.
what is one relationship in your life right now that you are treating as a permanent, heavy burden that you could instantly lighten just by viewing it as a temporary role in a much grander cosmic play?
That changes everything, doesn't it? If we're all just running these complex conversational scripts, maybe it's time to realize who actually wrote the code. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Yes, thanks for listening.
Keep questioning the invisible arrays in your own life, and we will catch you next time.